Hi friends, it's time for another episode of What Would You Make? Hosted by Connie from Connie's Wood Shop and DIYs, new host Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY, and special guest host Monica from Up All Night DIY. Let's dive into these wood projects. So for this DIY, we're going to use more of the wooden wall shelves that we used last month to make that planter box. I love these because it's a double pack. These measure at 6.7 by 5.2 inches. And there are layers, so it's not solid wood, but it has this veneer on top, so it is stainable. And then it comes with the rope and the hangers. So we're going to use these for a lantern. I have 4 wooden dowels. These came from this assorted pack from Walmart. I'm using the 5/16 size, and I've got tumbling tower blocks, super wood glue from DollarTree, and then as embellishments, I'm going to use either these gemstone stickers or maybe this pearl wrap. I haven't really decided. Maybe I'll use one of these for the top of the lantern. I'm not sure. So because they have the holes for the string, we're going to go ahead and get that filled in with our handy dandy Ace Hardware wood filler. So I'm going to decide where I want my dowel rods to go, as close to the corner as possible. I'm going to add a generous amount of glue, let it get tacky, and then set my dowel rods down into my glue, and then I'll add some supporting pieces so that they stay up. So when I added my supporting piece, I didn't let it stay the entire time while the glue dried, just long enough to help support the dowel rod so that once I removed it, it wouldn't fall directly over. Once my dowels have completely set up in the glue, I'm going to lay my piece sideways and take a large bamboo skewer to mark off where I need to cut to start making the crisscross designs for 3 sides of the lantern. Once I have my skewers cut, I'm going to add that super wood glue in the corners and then go ahead and get my skewer set. And then I'm going to have to add some tape just to make sure that my skewers will be held into place while the glue dries. And then once I get this initial one, I'll take the second one to crisscross over that and then repeat the same step. I'm going to add more tape at the corners and then tape right in the middle to make sure that my X stays together. Okay, so I pulled all the tape off and everything is secure and it did totally adhere. So now it's time to add the top. Now for the top part, what I want to do is make a small crate. So taking 2 sets of 3 tumbling tower blocks, glue them together, and then on the sides, gonna take one here on the bottom block and one here on the top, leaving the middle part open. Do that on both sides, and once they're adhered, you add this side and you end up with something like this. So you have your 3 blocks on the ends and then 2 blocks in the middle to make a tiny crate, and this will be placed on the very top of the lantern, the decorative bit on the top. So this will go right here. Now what I would add to the top of this, I'm gonna end up adding just a small piece of rope as like the handle, because the metal rings that came with the shelf, there's really no way for me to add these. I'll use this on another DIY, so I'll just use that bit of rope to make a decorative top. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my glue and then put this right on top of my lantern. So once this dries, then we can move on to painting. Using this cotton twine from DollarTree, I just braided 3 pieces together, and I want to add this up here as the top to my lantern. Now to add my pearl trim, I've already cut my pearl trim into individual rows, and I'm just adding this fix all glue that you can find at Dollar Tree. It is a permanent glue, and I'll just lay the strip down into the glue and then press it in with the tip of one of those skewers just to make sure that everything will be fully set into the glue. And I just work my way all the way around the top and the bottom of the lantern until it's all complete. So now it's time to decorate the lantern. I thought this hula skirt would look really nice as a bow on top. It would give the look of like raffia. So I'm just making a simple bow with the hula skirt and then snip it off, and I'm gonna just see how it looks, because I was considering using some lace ribbon, but then I thought, you know, that hula skirt looked really nice inside the planter box, and I'd used the same paint colors for that planter box. So I just make this simple bow, and then I popped off a couple of these light colored fall sunflowers to add to the top, and I like the way that looks, so I'm just gonna hot glue this on so I just have a nice hold for the season, and I can change this out once I start to decorate for Christmas. And then I add a couple of those sunflowers on top just to give a little bit more interest to the top of the lantern. And I found this candle ring at Dollar Tree, and I'll add that into the bottom of the lantern, and this glass candle from Dollar Tree, and I'll pop off a few more of those light colored sunflowers to add around my candle. And once I get those inserted, I'll add a couple of painted wooden acorns. I use just white and some of that khaki with the chippy brush just to give a little bit more of a fall feel. And this is my completed lantern, all decorated. I thought this came out really pretty. A couple of wooden shelves from Dollar Tree, dowel rods, and skewers, large skewers, and I ended up with a really beautiful piece for the fall. I would love to know what you think of this piece, and those little pearl accents, that pearl trim also came from Dollar Tree. So I'm just giving you a look of how the sides look, and then I'll turn it around so you can see how the back looks. And I thought this came out just really pretty. So let me know, what do you think of this lantern? For wonderful DIY inspiration, please check out our hosts, Connie from Connie's Wood Shop and DIYs, Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY, and Monica from Up All Night DIY. These ladies are all fantastically talented. For this DIY, I have a juncture hat from Dollar Tree. I've had this for a couple of years in my stash, and a bamboo ring. So what I want to do is kind of make a tobacco basket kind of project. I saw CJ DIY do this with, I believe, some caning. I don't have caning, I have this hat. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my hat taken apart so that I could add these pieces. And once you snip off some of that thread at the beginning, it pretty much just unravels just with a really, really light tug. So it really wasn't that hard to take apart, and I pulled off, I think, about a row and a half. So with my hat material pulled off, I'm going to do kind of a dry fit to see about where I'm thinking I want to add my pieces, and then I'm going to hot glue all my pieces down to my bamboo ring. And I'm going to make sort of like a kind of like a tic-tac-toe pattern, but then I'm going to turn it at an angle so it ends up looking similar to lattice. Once all the pieces are glued down, I trim off the excess and the extra like large chunks of glue that are showing on the edges. And now to decorate this round piece, I've got a new light colored package of corn I found at Dollar Tree, and various light colored florals. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use So I just, gathered a bunch of items, and I'll just, try out some things to see how they look. But I know for sure I'm going to go ahead and get started with my maple leaves as the base part of the piece. For the hydrangeas, I'm gonna have to glue each one side by side to give like a layered look, so it gives a bit more fullness. And then before I add any more hydrangea pieces, I want to add my corn, but I wasn't sure if I wanted them to be in the middle or sideways. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to get the corn pieces on, and I ended up gluing them on the actual bamboo ring, but then I wasn't happy with that look, so I ended up pulling them off and pushing them up just a bit more, and then I added more hydrangea for fullness. And then to add just a cute little neutral bow accent, I'm just wrapping some twine around my fingers a couple of times, and then I'll take one of those long tails and loop that around the middle and make a knot, and then get that glued to the base of the corn. And this piece actually is a versatile piece, so it can be hung either with the corn on the top or turned around and the corn is on the bottom. So I'll just, once I get the tails fully clipped off, I'll show you each way. And then I would love to know in the comment section which way you think looks better. Corn at the top or corn at the bottom. Let me know, what do you think? And here's another look at my wooden lantern. Thanks so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. Don't forget, there's a wonderful playlist. I'll have a link to the playlist and all three of the wonderful hosts in the description box. Have a blessed day.